self-loathing, self-hatred, low self-worth, feeling undeserving. That was my life. That was how I operated. That was my go-to, my subconscious, my conscious mind. I was my own worst enemy for years. I just never gave myself any credit, ever. And I have a feeling that a lot of you have the exact same thing as me, or had the exact same thing as me. You know, I grew up in, a very privileged upbringing. I had a very stable home environment. Money was not an issue. However, built in inside of me was this sense of just feeling worthless and feeling that I needed people to love me. And I was shown love like crazy. I was loved. I have loving parents. I have siblings. I'm the youngest of 5. I mean, I was dotted on. I think it's doted on. So I can't, when I really think about where those insecurities and everything came from, it's, I really feel that some of them were just born, I was just born that way. I feel like it was something inside of me that made me feel less than. And all growing up, I always needed to be liked. I was devastated if I wasn't invited somewhere. A lot of people feel that way, but for me, it was very heavy. A lot of tears about not being invited places, just doing whatever I could to fit in. I remember one time when I moved from Palo Alto, Northern California, to Southern California to San Diego. I mean, it was like a culture shock, and I didn't fit in. I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I was in a new place. It was a completely different vibe. I mean, they're two basically different states, even though they're both in California. And I completely became a chameleon. And I did what I needed to do to get people to like me and to fit in. But that whole time I never liked myself. I never loved myself. I always felt fake. I always felt like I was a fraud. A huge part of my alcoholism when that came out or what led to that was, drinking made me feel good. It made me feel like I could conquer the world, that I could be myself, and people thought I was funny, so it exacerbated my drinking, and it kept going. But it's a little bit of a different story. Check out another one of my videos I have shared about my stories and struggles with substance abuse. But I lived my whole life never thinking that I should ever talk kindly to myself, that I was worthy of self-praise, of self-love, of self-care. Those were things that were foreign to me. I had it built into me that talking nicely about myself I wasn't being humble. I was being braggadocious. So not only did I have low self-worth, self-loathing, self-hatred, but I also, when I had times where I felt like I could say something nice about myself, I didn't, because I felt like I was bragging to myself. So it'd be interesting to hear if anybody else had that same kind of deal going on in their brain, But I lived my life like that, and it was normal. It was how it works. It's who it was. It's who I was. I didn't believe people could find self-love. I didn't believe it was a real concept. I believe people were faking it. I believe people were lying. It was so foreign to me that the idea of people talking kindly to themselves and doing things for themselves that, that showed them love was something that I couldn't wrap my head around. If you're someone who struggles with self-love, self-loathing, and low self-worth, I'm one of you. I have felt your pain. I have felt your torment. I have felt your depths of sadness and never cutting yourself a break and never giving yourself slack. That was, I never thought I would get out of it. I didn't even think it was possible to get out of it. It's just how it was. And, a little over a year ago, something inside of me changed. And I hope if you're struggling with it, a little something inside of you can change, maybe by even seeing this video. I started getting tired of being so mean to myself. For 39 years, obviously when I was, maybe not 39 years, because when I was a little kid, who knows exactly when it started, but, I just was terrible to myself all the time. And, I had an issue with substance abuse, and I hurt people when I was in my drug and alcohol addiction. And that exacerbated, again, my self-loathing. and not feeling worthy. And, you know, I finally reached a point where I just was like, this can't be the way. This can't be how, I can't keep living like this. I'm just such a shit, lack of a better word, such a shithead to myself. There's got to be, and I start hearing people talk again about self-love, about self-compassion, about self-care. And for the first time, after so long, that idea sounded like something tangible, something real. I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't quite sure if it could really be done, but I was open to the possibility of being nice to myself. I started toying with things that I could say to myself that were kind. I started telling myself, with the idea of maybe I can tell myself I'm funny. Maybe I can say that. I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna say I'm not. I'm just gonna say I'm funny. I'm a funny dude. It actually worked. It actually, a few tries, it felt good. I started, leaning into it because people were telling me that's what I should be doing. People that I was respecting and people that were teaching me. And I listened. And so when I started doing it, instead of pushing back for the first time, I started to lean into it. And I started noticing changes. It started to feel fucking good. It started to feel, meaningful and right. And I started going along with that. It still trips me out talking about it now because I would have never believed it for myself. And I started believing in my dreams. I started believing in who I was. I started being proud of certain aspects of me. Now, it didn't all I wasn't immediately the most proud, happy, loving myself person. I struggle with it today. I struggled with it yesterday. Hardcore. But the difference is the change has started. The change is happening. I will revert. I will go back. But I keep pushing forward. When I find opportunities to give myself a pat on the back, and when I'm doing things that are, that I would never give myself credit for, like waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning and working out basically every single day for almost a year. Now I give myself, I'm like, damn, you did it. Good for you. Like, give yourself some fucking credit. You did it. Nice job. Thank you. Talking to myself. But I just, the point in what I'm trying to get with what I'm saying is, I never thought, if you're struggling with self-love, if it doesn't feel like it's for you, I never thought it was for me. It was not ever meant for me. It was never going to happen. But I just kept doing it to myself to the point where I hit a bottom, or hit a point of desperation where I was just like, fuck, my life, I'm already so stressed out enough. I already have enough going on. I'm already, working a high stress job. All of these things are happening, and I'm just beating myself up even more. And it clicked on me, and I was like, damn, I'm making my situations a lot worse. I made it a lot worse, and people would, talk to me, like I said, about self-love, but it never resonated like it did in moments like that, where I really became open to the idea. So what I'm saying is, if you're struggling with it, don't give up. It can and will happen for you if you don't give up. It is meant for you. Whatever happened to you in your past that you feel shame and guilt for, or you feel like it was your fault, it's not. And you don't need to feel that. You are a whole person. If you were hurt, if you had some type of just terrible trauma, or just anything that could impact your self-esteem and your self-worth, you are still, and never was it taken away from you, worthy of self-love, of self-compassion. Once you start enveloping that in your life and you start being a fan of yourself, shit really starts to change. And I'm not just talking about on an internal level, but an external level and on a spiritual level. Self-love, self-compassion, and self-care is the key. And if it feels distant, if it feels impossible for you, I promise you, I was in the same place. I was in the same place. And somehow I was able to get onto the other side. The struggle is still real. I'm not cured. I still have a lot of things that I say to myself that I wish I wasn't saying to myself. Some of them are habit and just things I just say out of so many years of doing it. But keep pushing. Don't give up on yourself. You are worthy of self-love. Do not give up on yourself. Give yourself pats on the back. Eventually, you'll see the beauty in self-love and how it'll permeate throughout your whole life. And you'll want more of it. And you will understand in your core that you were wrong to ever treat yourself that way. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. If you feel like this message would resonate with anyone, please share it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in 1 week. See you later.